Breaking right now, the man convicted of killing two Cape Coral women learns his fate. Wade Wilson will be put to death. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lois Tomey.
I'm Chris Safadi. The sentencing came just before 4:30 this afternoon. Family members of victims Diane Ruiz and Christine Melton had been given the chance to speak to Wilson in the courtroom, but they waited until afterward. Both Ruiz and Melton were killed in 2019. Wilson confessed the murders to his father. The last text Ruiz sent to her fiance said, quote, "I love you." Wink News has team coverage of the decision. We begin with Wink News anchor Annette Montgomery outside the Lee County Courthouse. Annette, what did the families have to say this afternoon?
A lot before they broke down, but first State Attorney Amira Fox addressed the national attention this case has received and the support Wade Wilson is getting from the public, saying they don't understand he's nothing more than a vicious killer and the poorest representation of a man. She, along with both families, say that death was the appropriate sentence, with the families of the victims saying they will be present at Wade Wilson's execution and watch as he takes his last breath. Now, this was the first time we heard from both Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz's family since both women were murdered back in 2019, with all of them showing immense emotion. Now, Fox described Wilson as an evil monster and said he has received a lot of attention in this case when it should be centered around the two beautiful and wonderful women who were loved immensely by their families. Take a listen as Diane Ruiz's father, Felix, took the stage and broke down.
I didn't get to say I love her and I miss her. I'd let you know that this is not the end. The end is when the accused takes his last breath, and I will be there at the execution. That's a promise.
I will say that this will not be the last that Wade Wilson sees of us in a courtroom, because this has been 5 years of agony.
And in court, the Judge Thompson, did say Wilson cannot have contact with any of the victims' family members. Now, Wilson was fingerprinted and is being held without bond, and soon he will be transported to the Department of Corrections. Live from the Lee County Courthouse, Annette Montgomery, Wink News.
Both the defense and the prosecution also spoke following the sentence. Our team coverage continues now with Wink News reporter Olivia Jean outside the courthouse. Olivia, you were in the courtroom when the judge handed down the ruling.
Yeah, it was an anxious wait inside of the courtroom, especially after a fire alarm set everything back. Now, you could hear a pin drop inside that courtroom. It was so silent when the judge read his ruling, which was the death penalty for Wade Wilson. Now, a few people in the courtroom did applause, and Wade Wilson showed little to no emotion. Now, while Wade Wilson was convicted of murdering Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz in Cape Coral back in 2019, after the judge's decision, the victim's family said this isn't over until he takes his last breath. This morning, the defense stated Wilson has multiple mental illnesses, and their concern is that he won't get the treatment he needs on death row. That's one of the reasons they pushed for life in prison. However, the state was pushing for the other option, the death penalty, and the judge ultimately agreed. Listen to both the defense and the state's reactions to the ruling.
After the trial and everything, we were expecting it. We were hoping to maybe move the judge with some of what you heard this morning. But, you know, you're prepared for the worst.
Not only did the facts and circumstances warrant the death penalty in this case, it was deserved, and he earned it, and we did not make this decision lightly.
The defense told me that they will be filing a motion, filing a notice of appeal, in that Wilson was really not surprised about the ruling at all. And the judge did say he took into account that 9-3 jury rule for the death penalty. He also said Wilson may not have any contact with the victim's family. I'm live at the Lee County Courthouse. Olivia Jean, Wink News.
All right, thank you, Olivia.